Hello, welcome to Mandibil. I just realized, re-listening to the part 5 I made yesterday about Bernardo Kastrup's analysis, or excuse me, his series on Analytic Idealism, part 4, called A Superior Hypothesis. There's one small nugget of contradiction that is so fantastic, in my opinion, that I need to just point it out now. What I mean by he is at minute about 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the show or the part. He presents 3 points in this slide here, and I'm taking a chance that is not going to infringe or what's it called? Blame me for copyright infringement by presenting his wisdom on this slide here, right? And the first one is, we all seem to share the same world. And the second one is, we can't change the world simply by wishing. And third, inner experience correlates with brain function. So I don't remember exactly his fabulation about this, but that's not that which is important. But if you look at the slide here, it says 1 and 3 and 2, right? So he hadn't even checked his slides before he presents them in this fantastic course, in this superior course. But that's another story, right? Intelligent people can be quite distraught. So I know that from personal experience, right? I can overlook things that are so obvious when I re-look at them later, right? Okay. So maybe I should just play it, right? He's jumping from part one or bullet 1 into bullet 2 in this point I'm trying to talk to you about here, right? So let's just play it and I'll explain what I mean, right?
Number 2, we can't change the world simply by wishing it to be different. I realize I made an error in the numbering here. Bear with me.
Did you get that? Did you get that? Right? Did you hear what he said? He first said, you can't change the world just by wishing it to be different. And in the same breath of air, he says, I made an error. He's basically wishing that he had done something else, right? I mean, and when he's acting, he must be acting in that realm which he doesn't have access to, because that's where his body is, or his real body, let's say, right? So first he says, you can't do anything about it. It is what it is. It does what it does. And then in the same breath of air, he says, oh, I made an error. He's implicitly saying, I wish I have done differently, right? I mean, can you see how stupid this is? It's unbelievably stupid, right? That he haven't, I mean, I'm doing a sort of on the fly kind of criticism or debunking or deconstruction of this, right? But he should have been aware that what he does there is self-contradictory to the nth degree, right? It's almost like I want to play it once more. Let's see if I can get back to it here.
However misleading our ordinary intuitions of it may be, there is a shared world. There is something that can play the role of a shared world. I think that is an undeniable empirical observation.
So it's an empirical observation that is shared. Well, you can't share an experience, right? He's just making an axiom here that says, okay, I have an experience. I make the statement, I'm going further in my philosophy based on the axiom that says every single individual of this kind, being human beings or whatever term you want to use, right, have the similar kind of experience as I have, right? And then we share the world. But when he talks about the world, we can't change the world. Then he jumps into the other realm, which is Kant's noumena, or that world that is beyond experience. So he is jumping from one to the other in order to confuse you so much that you don't understand what the hell he's talking about, and ultimately maybe just accepts what he says. But then he contradicts his own claim he just made, right?
Number two, we can't change the world simply by wishing it to be different. I realize I made an error in the numbering here. Bear with me.
It's almost laughably bad, right? You can't change anything. Oh, by the way, I wish I had made it differently. Oh my God. Oh man, what a crackpot, right? Holy flying shit, man, right? It's bad. Oh my God, man. I don't know why I didn't, I missed that. I was all, apparently, my thoughts were elsewhere than with the exact. That just goes to show that making a deconstruction or a presentation, your mind is usually somewhat ahead of what you're saying. And sometimes you don't realize what you're saying just contradicted what you just said a few seconds or minutes before. And, it's sort of, you have to balance both your thinking and your expression when you're presenting something, right? And that's one of the features of a good presenter, is that they can actually be in the presentation in the moment they are presenting it, and not having all sorts of thoughts about what I'm going to say in 5 or 10 seconds, or how did it come across what I said 5 seconds ago or 10 seconds ago, right? It's sort of being in the moment and presenting, but that might have the spin-off problem that you're forgetting to comparing what you're saying. But this is sort of, he didn't realize there was this so-called error before he made the presentation. And it's not scripted, as he says. It's loose language, right? So in that moment, he realizes that he has made an error, as he called it, right? And it's perfect because it's directly in the ass of saying you can't change the world simply by wishing, right? And then he just basically says, I wish I had made it different. He doesn't say it explicitly, but that's the interpretation. Otherwise, why would you say it if you're not sort of wishing that it was different, right? You wish that it looked better or something like that. He should say, okay, there's a incorrect numbering here, right? But I can't change it because that's what the world does, or something like that. So he's basically a crackpot, right? He's trying to fool you. He's trying to lure you into some kind of mysticism, right? You have to make that distinction. You have to make that conclusion, working from what I would call the worst case scenario, the worst case principle, which is, okay, what might the incentive be of this person? If they make category errors by jumping between two paradigms, like the experiential area and the non-experiential area, just like, left jump as he does, right? And then self-contradict your claim about being able to change whatever world he's speaking about, right? So it's basically, he's making a category error and he's making a contradiction error, right? And he doesn't even realize it. And he hasn't made any, modifications to his presentation, say, well, I was completely, let me clarify what I said here was stupid, right? He hasn't done that. It has been around for a year or so, this series, right? So he's basically thinking it's superior. It's a superior theory, this, right? Because it's superior, I don't have to change anything because I'm perfect. I know everything. I'm the priest of Analytic Idealism, right? Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here, man, right? Okay, see you in the next one.